Well, hi, PJTV fans. I'm Bill Whittle. I'm sitting here with our special guest, Professor Glenn Reynolds of Instapundit. And my goodness, look at the calendar. It's Christmas, everybody. Merry Christmas. I'm sorry. I'm sorry. I apologize. I didn't mean to say Merry Christmas. What I meant to say was Happy Holidays. Although by holidays, which is derived from holy days, I didn't mean to insult anybody in that way either. Certainly didn't mean to anger anybody or to give them the impression that they must have holy days here in America, which, as we all know, is a secular society where these kind of things are completely just in a horrible slate of bad taste, and I've run myself into the ground, Glenn. Has this just gotten ridiculous? This idea, this political correctness idea, isn't Christmas a great day to talk about the problem with the fact that one guy driving past City Hall sees a Christmas display on public ground, decides to go to the press, files suit about the separation of church and state, which is not actually in the Constitution, and just kind of rains on everybody's parade? Don't you think this whole thing's just gone too far? Can't we just say Merry Christmas and have it mean something sweet like it used to?
It seems to me that actually, things have sort of shifted back a little bit over the last couple of years. I mean, you had that whole sort of war against Christmas thing a few years ago, and more and more people, got to where it actually, I think, felt subversive to a lot of people to say Merry Christmas to somebody, and if they said Merry Christmas back, they were part of the resistance.
That's right.
But like the secret handshake.
The Occupy Christmas
It seems like there's a little less of that. The White House actually calls it a Christmas tree this year, and so I think that's sort of mellowed out. But here's my real question for you: what ever happened to Kwanzaa? Right? That was like a big deal for a while.
Yeah.
I was talking to my daughter about that when she was in elementary school. It was Kwanzaa this, Kwanzaa that every year. Now, poof, gone.
Yeah. Didn't have the ratings. We thought about rebooting it, but no, it just didn't have the numbers. And no, it just kind of died from lack of interest. Kwanzaa was a manufactured holiday in the 60s, right? A recently manufactured holiday. And I think people just kind of realize that it's not really anchored to any ancient tradition. But we'll cheer up the Christmas pace here because it's actual Christmas Day, ladies and gentlemen. We came from the golden age of toys, you and I. Kids today, what with their little beepy, twangy little, computer games.
Snappers.
Yeah, those bunch of punks. What was the best toy you ever got for Christmas?
Johnny Astro.
Mine too!
Was it really?
Yes!
Are you serious?
Johnny Astro,
Yes.
Mine too!
What an awesome toy, and so simple and dumb and yet awesome at the same time.
Tell them about Johnny Astro. I'll skip on the Bernoulli's principle. You just tell them what it was.
The Johnny Astro used Bernoulli's principle, actually.
It sure did.
It was a balloon to which you could attach a little lunar lander type set of legs and a ducted fan with a joystick.
Yep.
And when you turn the joystick, the stream of air from the fan would move and the balloon would be caught in it and fly around with it. And I got that for Christmas, I think, when I was 7, and it was my favorite Christmas toy ever.
Best toy ever.
Absolutely.
Best toy ever. You had a little joystick and a throttle, and the fan looked like a radar dome, so you'd pivot this thing around, and you had this little thing sitting on a little lander legs, and it had a little hook you could pick up a mercury capsule with, and you had to bring the power up just a little bit, but if you aimed it right at the balloon, it would just blow the balloon away. You had to be smart enough and aim it above the balloon, and then Bernoulli's principle, create a small vacuum over the top of the balloon, and you could fly that balloon away, bring it back. It took absolute skill and patience. It was the coolest thing I have ever had in my life.
That is so funny.
Isn't that awesome? Major Matt Mason was kind of rocking too.
Yeah, that was pretty cool too. Rock'em Sock'em Robots.
They were great.
For which there's now a movie, right?
Oh,
like a
for
Rock'em
God's
Sock'em
sake.
Robots movie.
Michael Bay probably.
Hollywood has no
It's called
new
Transformers.
ideas.
Yeah. I miss practical toys. Video games. I've been a video game player. I just got real lucky in that. I'm probably the oldest video game player on Earth. But it's not quite the same. It's not quite the same as those things.
Video games are cool in their place, but there's a lot to be said for real-world skills. And one of the interesting things I've seen with my blog is people write and ask about toys like that. And they love the Snap Circuits electronic project kits, which are, I used to have those Radio Shack, 150-in-1 project kits that you could breadboard stuff together to make a radio or whatever, a Geiger counter or whatever. But these are more like Legos, and the elements plug together, which makes them easier. And they are amazing what you can do with them, and they are very sophisticated. They come with a book that gives them the theory so they actually understand what they're doing, and they're pretty cool. A lot of they're bringing back like handy tool sets and stuff for kids. So I'm hoping that the next generation maybe will have a little more hands-on skills, and they'll need it after the economic apocalypse causes everything to collapse.
That's exactly right.
Merry Christmas.
Merry Christmas. I never used those radio kits. I was always told if you get into those radio things, you'd grow up to be some kind of nerd professor at a university someplace.
Pointy
so
head.
it wasn't for me, but you never know what can happen. What do you think of when you think of Christmas?
I still think of snow, even though I don't usually get it. You know, maybe I don't know. Oh, look, there's snow outside now here in LA. But I really don't know what it's why I think of snow with Christmas, because most of the country, most years, doesn't have snow. But you always think of snow and Christmas together.
White Christmas, baby, that's it.
I guess it's all because of Bing Crosby.
That's right, and that whole mythology in the movies and Capra and stuff. That's all we have time for today out there, ladies and gentlemen. Please continue to leave your questions and word suggestions in the comments section located below. For Glenn Reynolds and PJTV, I'm Bill Whittle. Thanks for watching. Have a safe and Merry Christmas, and don't let these people get you down. It's still a magical world out there. All you have to do is believe.